Tamika is getting on my nerves more and more and more by every episode. I am your girl, Talisa Rae. What's up? How you doing? Ray of Sunshines. We are reviewing Southern Charm, New Orleans, Season 1, Episode number 6, Etou-faced. If it's your first time visiting my channel, what up, though? Go ahead, click that red subscribe button to be a ray of sunshine and the notification bell so you're alerted of all the videos I upload going forward. So we pick up where we left off, okay? First things first, we find out that Justin did not stay in the house, in the Myrtle Plantation, honey. Him and Miss Kelsey went and got a hotel. I had to say that right off top. Honey, he was scared. He was like, I don't play with that kind of stuff. We find out that he's scary. Like, he's probably seen and experienced the ghost. I told y'all he was sensitive to it last week. Susan, Tamika's friend, has to leave, and you've seen that her and Jared were pranking, knocking on windows and shit late last night, trying to get a rise out of people and to get people afraid and to really into the haunting of the house. Well, they depart and they are going to the Bluff Golf Course for brunch or lunch or breakfast or whatever they're having. And there we have the conversation. Tamika is concerned about Justin and him and his tight chest. She starts to reference how her father died when she was 6. I believe he was 36 years old and he kept saying, I'm fine, I'm fine. Didn't wake up the next day. Well, Barry's all like, pass me the sauce in the middle of her expressing what was going on. And she gets upset with him and says, how rude, how insensitive. You could tell at that point that he wasn't really paying attention to what was going on, what conversation was being had. And like he said, there were probably 4 or 5 conversations going on. Now, I could see, though, you being irritated. Like, you weren't ear hustling to hear a little bit about what's going on. But Sonny did come to her rescue. Sonny came to Barry's rescue and said he didn't hear it. Do y'all agree? Do you think that he was being disrespectful? I think it was unintentional. He wasn't being that way on purpose. I think that she might have overreacted, and she is a bit of a hothead. Like, she wants people to afford her, you know, respect and due diligence and patience and shit, but she doesn't do that for them. And Sonny says, you know, Sonny makes a lot of valid points at the table. Now, that's her biological brother, and says, I think that you need to probably see a therapist about dad and mom, because we find out later that their mom had MS and she died, you know, some months or years later. I'm not sure how many. Don't hold me to it. Nonetheless, he also says that she is an attention whore. Like, she seeks attention any way she can, and that's why she acts the way she does. Now, he knows her, you know, to the core. And I always say that people do change and can change, but it doesn't seem like Miss Tamika is doing any changing of the sort. He makes mention of her, like that being her security blanket. He didn't say that she was insecure, but that was her security blanket, like seeking attention and being in the forefront. And look at me, look at me, look at me, because they lost their dad, their mom at such a young age. And then Barry opened his mouth at the table. He stood his ground and he said a couple things. What he said was that she needs to learn how to balance her family and work life, that she has too many pockets of friends that she has to entertain, that things get out of control for her. And of course, when you get, as we saw with the Real Housewives of Potomac, when too much is going on, shit gets out of hand, it becomes a volcano and it erupts. I was glad to see that in the confessional, Reagan said that she's the last person that should be giving advice because her marriage is a mess. Child, it is. And just, you should have just stayed quiet, but you didn't. So we see that the fellas go golfing and the ladies go shopping. And while the fellas are golfing, first things first, honey, John Moody, his legs are to die for. Like, he just did a little, you know, a little swing, and all you could see was the definition in his leg. You know, legs are big for me on a man. I realized that. In the van, Kelsey, I'm glad she's inserting herself. Like, she is speaking up and she's showing who she is. She's all like, my mother told me something that was very wise, or told me to hold on to this, that it is, you have to choose to like them, choose to want to be in the situation, choose to love them. every single day. And then Miss Tamika goes on to say that she can't stand Barry, the way he smells, the way he looks, the way he talks. I mean, I've been there in a marriage, but by the time I got there, I really wanted my marriage to be over. Sounds like that's what Tamika wants, but listen, I don't know. I'm only talking about from my own experience, okay? When the moment you can't stand the way they smell, the way they walk, the way they look, the way they talk, if they reaching out because they want to love you, then there seems to be a bit of a problem, and that's just me. Y'all might disagree with me, and if you do, it's cool. Let me know down below in the comments. So I want to talk about Barry and Tamika. Still, since we're talking about Barry and Tamika, let's talk about their dynamic. They referred to her as an A-type personality. Okay, assertive, go-getter kind of personality. She's also probably an alpha, and she kind of rules the relationship. I mean, you can see it. What you also see is that Barry's grandma, don't really like Tamika. And though she was joking around or whatever when she was talking about it, she knew it to be true. And you could tell that Tamika is uncomfortable around Barry's mother. What I also found out was that Barry is very traditional. Like, he feels like he should have a hot meal every single day, 5 days a week, that Tamika should be providing a hot meal for him when he gets home. Ladies, how do you feel about that? Let me know down below in the comments. Listen, because I don't think anybody should be expecting a hot meal in this day and age 5 days a week unless you are a stay-at-home mom or dad. I don't think that that's feasible. I think that it can be done, that each of you take turns, but you can't expect that me as the wife would be the only one to handle. Listen, I don't know. Y'all can disagree with me. Maybe I'm too modern. Maybe I'm past traditional. Y'all let me know, because I feel like I can cook today, we can have leftovers tomorrow. You can cook today, we can have leftovers. He also said that, his mother was a traditional Southern woman, and he really wants Tamika to have a relationship with her children like his mother had a relationship with them. Also says that he's a bit of a mama's boy. I'm not sure. Maybe. What do y'all think? I'm not sure. I don't know. Barry, you're saying some things that I'm not a fan of. Like, let's keep talking about them. They had date night, and I like that during date night, he went ahead and expressed himself, and he said, oh, let me back up. Rainey. The dynamic between Rainey and Tamika. How do you guys feel about that? I think that maybe we all get a little frustrated at times. I'm a bit of a hothead, so I could see where you could get frustrated. What are you crying about because you didn't win, and it was 300 girls, only 12 could win, and like, what are you upset about? I could see you being upset about it, but I also see that she needed to figure out, okay, I did probably blow up. Let me fix this, because I find myself with Kingston always going back and saying, listen, mom didn't mean to blow up on you, but here's where the issue lied. Forgive me. I should have had another tactic. Nonetheless, you can't be acting that way. And Rainey's a daddy's girl. So I felt like when Tamika was asking her to tell him the story, that she shouldn't have butted in, that she shouldn't have got upset. She should have let the little girl tell her side of the story to her dad and let her dad work that out, because it would be easier for her to talk to her dad. Poor baby was crying, I just want to go to my room. I don't want to be bothered with this shit. Dad, just let me go to my room. I'm a daddy's girl. At least I used to be. Anyway, we see Tamika and Barry later go on a date night. And Barry had mentioned to us in a confessional that now you can see that this is getting out of hand. Things been out of hand, Barry. But things have been way to the left for a while now. You know it. I know it. All of TV land knows it. But you feel like it's something that you need to address, that you need to figure out how she's going to balance and make her family a priority, because you do make time for the things that you want to do. One of the things that he talked about at the table was the intimacy with him. Also, and she was like, well, we have intimacy, we just don't have sex. In 4 months? Like, y'all haven't had sex in 4 months? That's a bit much. That's a bit much. So she's not attracted to him anymore. Y'all, what's happening? There are some things that'll dry up the coonch, okay? There's some things, financial issues, dry it up. I don't like you, it dries it up. Some things will dry it up. Y'all know it to be true. Y'all know I ain't lying. If I got too much on my mind or too much on my plate, this thing don't work. Especially if I'm not attracted to you, or you not setting the fire for me, or we have whatever issues and I see you differently. That's not what we're talking about though. But he addresses it. And I actually am glad that he spoke his truth to her. And I'm even more glad that Tamika was receptive and said she will figure it out. And he said, we will figure it out. So I was glad that they actually had that conversation to figure out now, okay, we know there's a problem. We need to figure out what to do to fix it. You need to figure out how to balance your family and your work life. It is very important that you do that, Tamika. I don't like her though. So let's talk Reagan. We don't talk Reagan that much. Reagan and Jeff didn't really have much going on. They just talked briefly about Jeff's therapy sessions, what's going on with Reagan in school, and we're over that. But, we did talk about John. We saw John and his sister Sherry briefly, and he was saying that he was getting burned out, that he found himself to be exhausted a lot. And that was pretty much their whole conversation. But I think that's going to push us into the next episode with Gian. And then, so we saw Justin, right? It was Justin's 1-year anniversary with Kelsey, and Barry met Justin at the jewelry store. And they're looking for jewelry. I'm having deja vu. They're looking for jewelry to find something for Kelsey for their 1 year. They're all over the store, and then they get to engagement rings, and I was really like, oh, okay, he's gonna buy her an engagement ring, but I knew better, and you knew better too. But Barry gave him some advice and said, listen, you're never gonna be in the place that you want to be. You're always gonna say, if I have X amount more dollars, more clients, etc. But you have to move with your heart if you love her, and not keep her waiting, which was good advice. His box was small, so I was really hopeful for it. And Barry got a watch, right? So they get dressed and they go to dinner for their anniversary to Tableau. I don't know. Yeah, Tableau. They're dressed very nice. He's got on a bow tie. They look very nice. I love a man that's willing to put on some clothes and take you to a real dinner. Like, I haven't been to a dinner where I actually had to get dressed, like on a date where I had to get dressed and he looked nice in quite a while. That says something about what's going on in my life, right? Anyway, so they sit down, and I'm glad Kelsey spoke her truth. And she said, I'm 30, you're 35, and if we're being honest, me and my best friend are the only ones that are not married and do not have children. Everyone else in our circle does. And you see Justin kind of say that thing that men say when they're not ready to get married. They say that thing, it doesn't matter what everybody else says. It's me and you. It's how we love, how you know that I love you and what we have going on. That is the famous line for men that are not ready to commit and get married. Who cares about what the outside people say? And pretty much for me, it's not about what outside people say. It's about what I say. And, he was raving about how patient she was, and she was different from other girls. And I love that. But somebody should tell him that patience does run out eventually. After a while, women want to know, where are we going? What are the next steps? So he gives her the gift, and we get a glimpse of her opening the box, and you can see her disappointment. He knew, like we knew, she was expecting a ring, hoping for a ring. But I guess that for 1 year anniversary wouldn't have been nice. He really needs to plan out something really spectacular and ask her to marry him. That pretty much covers that whole episode. I don't know why I felt like it was more exciting than it was when I recanted it. Don't forget, if it's your first time visiting my channel, to go ahead and click that subscribe button to become part of my family. You don't want to miss anything that I upload, so you do want to hit the notification bell too. Thank you so much for watching my review of Southern Charm, New Orleans, Season 1, Episode number 6, Etou-faced. If I've missed anything, charge it to my head and not my heart. but let me know down below in the comments. Hugs and kisses and lots of love. I will see you on the next video.